If there's one thing we haven't been short of, it's water. So I'm taking this down to the greenhouse to just do some watering down there. But I think today is the first dry day we've had in March so far. So I've got a few things to show you, and I've got some lovely blossom coming out on the fruit trees and some other bits and pieces we go through. So very much welcome to you for this, the March episode of A Year Gardening in 2024. Well, it's hard to believe, but it's actually 4 years now since I put this Amankia tree in the ground, and it was in a 5-litre pot, as I recall. Very small, only came up around about 600-700 mil, and look at it now, well over 2 metres, getting over 2.5 metres tall. Fantastic. And the leaves and buds are all going to be coming out on this very soon. It's going to look absolutely beautiful. Dutch iris is coming through underneath it. It's going to be a nice section of the garden. Let's go and have a look at the buds on some of the fruit trees. This is the Victoria plum, and it's got some lovely blossom coming on here. A couple are out in flower, and there's lots and lots of blossom. Hopefully we're going to see some nice fruit on here this year. The apple trees, this is just starting to bud out, and we've got some nice buds on here and on the pear tree as well. So fingers crossed for some nice fruit on these this year. And just behind me we have the blossom on the peach tree, which is absolutely gorgeous, and there's a lot of blossom on that, so hopefully we will see a lot of fruit coming on that this year as well. Now, my main feature this week was going to be in the front garden, border under the window, getting that sorted, laid, seeds out, ready for the summer annuals. Unfortunately, the ground is still so wet, the water table is so high that as you just stand on the grass, the water's coming up and it's just not suitable for working on. So we've got to allow it more time to dry out. So I thought I'd come down to where I'm going to be taking this stream out, but before I actually take it out, I need to reroute the piping that picked up from the pump and ran the water down the stream. So I don't need to take it all out, but I do need to lift enough so that I can just bring it round, feed it back into the pond. So I've actually found the pipe here, and got a fair bit of it actually out into the open so I can see where it is. And my intention is just to cut that and then loop it back round here. So we can just take the saw, cut through the plastic piping there. Simple as that. We don't need a great amount. There. Pop that down here. Then I can just bring this around. Oh, lots and lots of tidying to do in here. There's that pipe. And I need to get my spade, clear a bit of ground there, and feed that back through the fence. So that's going to be my next job. Well, now that channel's dug, diverted, and as you can just see there, the pipe is heading back down under the fence and into the pond. So I've got some filling and levelling to do here. Then I can start breaking the stream down in sections, working my way all the way back to the top. It might take me a couple of months to do this because Obviously it's fairly heavy work and I can't do a lot of that. And then I'll fill the top in with some compost, and this area will be grass seeded to bring it all back up to level here. Again, that's going to take a little bit of time, but it'll be well worth it. So crack on with this now. Well, whilst I'm down this end of the garden, I thought I'd just do a little bit of tidying up of the pond area as well. So let's have a quick look at that. Well, there was lots of weed growing in the pond, so I've raked a lot of that out to start with, and that's now just on the side on the bank here, just in case there are any little beasties and things living inside there that need to get back into the water. And so we'll let them get back in first of all, and then I'm going to be collecting some water from the water butts and just topping this up, because where I've taken the weeds out, it's lowered the water level a little bit. So that looks okay. Well, I'm back down here at the stream, and a couple of days work. Well, as you know, I can only do 5-10 minutes at a time, and so I have to take my time doing this. But I've started off the filling in over the top here, and so I've been putting some broken rock and stone and things in the bottom to fill this up, give it a good drainage area, and then covering with compost. Then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be planting up this area with pollinating flowers, annuals, which will just give us a nice little border at the end of the grass here. This is still going to be built up and banked out to bring it up to a nice easy slope, so that when I've seeded with some more grass seed over the top here, it's going to be a nice gentle slope. It's going to take me a fair while to do this, but I'll have this done from the bridge down here in the next week or so, and then we get the top part done probably over the next month after that. 10-15 minutes a day is about all I can do these days, but living with this lung condition is something that I'm actually now living with and not letting it beat me. I'm working alongside it, and we're going to just see how things go. Well, I think that's almost it for today. Oh, I can see I've got some tulips coming out. That's nice. That'll be pleasant to see. Right, well, let's get ready to close up. Well, I've finally made a start on removing the stream, which is a very important part of the improvements of the garden, which is going to allow me to open up the area to get the electric scooter all the way down the garden, which will reduce the effort I have to make getting up and down the garden, which will give me more time to work in the garden, which is going to be fantastic. But as I said, that is going to take a little bit of time, but it's going to look fantastic when it's finished. Now, the front garden I'm going to get into as soon as all this awful wet weather has eased up. Again, today it's been raining hard, and I don't know when it's going to stop. Does anyone know when it's going to stop? But we need to get some drier weather so that we can work on that. Now, the excuse me, the main area of the garden only needs gentle maintenance now, because it's there, it's wonderful, it's perfect. But obviously the stream area is the area that's going to take a lot of work, and the raised beds, which I didn't use last year, I'm clearing those, tidying those, ready to use this year, so that we can get a much better food crop, because I'm sure you, like me, appreciate the price of food is going through the roof, and anything we can grow in our gardens is going to ease the household budget. So that's about it for this week. But something I'd like to share with you. Now, over the past few years, I've been working and thinking and changing my aspect on life. Now, I've always been a member of the church, and I've worked in a lay capacity in my local churches and done what I can. But in January this year, something changed. By the grace of God, I was ordained as a minister of the church in January of this year, and I can now in other ways share Christ's ministry with the people around me, which is a blessing. And so not only do I have the joy of my garden, I've got the joy of sharing God's word with those who live around me, which is absolutely wonderful. So that's it for today's show. Thank you ever so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. So it just leaves me to say, take care, stay well, be kind to each other, and as it's St. Patrick's Day coming up on Sunday, with a small glass of Jameson's, I'll say happy gardening. Cheers. Ah.